Controversy over the AG's nomination sparking this comment yesterday on our program. Senator Ted Cruz joined us. And when it came to the topic of Elizabeth Warren on the floor of the Senate, what happened after that point, he said the following here on America's Newsroom.
Democrats are the party of the Ku Klux Klan. You look at the most racist, you look at the people, the Dixiecrats. They were Democrats who imposed segregation, imposed Jim Crow laws, who founded the Klan. The Klan was founded by a great many Democrats, and yet now the Democrats just accuse anyone they disagree with of being a racist.
Well, that got a lot of attention. Leslie Marshall, Rachel Campos-Duffy, now Fox News contributors from the left and the right. And Rachel, let's start with you. This is getting nasty in the U.S. Senate. And when we had Senator Barrasso on an hour ago, I asked him when it would cool down. He did not have a great answer as to when that would be. Where's this coming from, and where does it go?
Well, listen, Ted Cruz is right. The left uses race to foment hate. And if you look at the South, the facts that he gave were also correct. If you look at the South, the less racist it's become, the more Republican it's become. The left has a very checkered history with race, one that they try to cover up, and they're able to do because they have a monopoly on our education system and our curriculum, which is probably why they fought so hard against Betsy DeVos. But we can't just point out what the Democrats' history is with race. We also need to celebrate, as Republicans, our very proud history. It was Republicans who freed the slaves. It was Republicans who fought for 40 years to give women the right to vote, and only were able to do it when they won a landslide majority in the House and Senate. It was Republicans who voted in greater percentages for the Civil Rights Act than Democrats. We need to tell these truths because our kids aren't hearing it, that's for sure, in school.
Okay. Leslie, Aveda King, the niece of Martin Luther King, was on yesterday with Neil Cavuto. And he said, you know, you're pulling this race card all the time, and she's tired of it and did not want her name invoked there. Nonetheless, it has happened. It's happened a lot this past week. So what gives, Leslie?
Well, I think it's pretty, racist, if you will, and I'm offended as a Democrat to be lined up with the KKK, who have endorsed our current president, who has an R, a Republican, title next to his name. The Democrats put forth the only black man ever to be nominated and elected to the presidency of this country. In the 60s, it was the Democrats who became the party of civil rights. And to look at both Democrats and Republicans from the late 1800s or even the early 20s and 40s, in the 1920s, and 40s is absolutely ludicrous. Ted Cruz needs to look at a calendar. It is 2017. The Democrats are not part of the KKK. Look at the demographics of the Democratic Party. There are far more African Americans and in Congress. There are far more African American.
He's factually accurate about the Dixiecrats when you go back to 1950.
Dixiecrat, but we're not that party today, Bill, and we're not that party today. And PolitiFact in 2013, when a state senator from Virginia made this very same remark and then apologized and regretted saying it, by the way, in 2013, PolitiFact found that although there were Democrats that helped to found the KKK, there were non-Democrats as well. It was anger from white Southerners, some of which were Democrats.
Leslie, it was as recently as 2010 that there was a former Klansman senator, Senator Byrd, in the U.S. Senate. You also had Strom Thurmond, a committed segregationist. There were in the U.S. Senate. But we don't even have to go back to 2010. We can go back to the Women's March. Who was the organizer of the Women's March? A woman named Linda Sarsour, who wants to promote Sharia law, which is anti-woman, anti-gay. And when the conservatives had the temerity to bring that up, do you know what they did? They created a hashtag, which Bernie Sanders, Democrat Bernie Sanders, said, "I stand with Linda." Do you, Leslie, do you stand with Linda, a promoter of Sharia law, which discriminates against women and gays and all kinds of rights in America?
Well, first of all, we're talking about the KKK, and Sharia law is something that is practiced by some Muslim countries throughout the world. And we don't even have the time to get into what Sharia law is, because we have religious courts in this country for Orthodox Jews as well as for Muslims. But with regard to the KKK, I, as a Democrat, am offended when you have David Duke, who is a former high-ranking member of the KKK, who is also a Republican, who has also supported this president. I think, again, in 2017, to say that the Democrats or even the Republicans are parties of the late 1800s or even the 1920s or 40s is not just not factual. I find it offensive, and I think Ted Cruz needs to pedal back those comments. It seems
like a race to the bottom, and I don't know when that decorum returns to that chamber of Congress, rather, but. The level of decorum
it's time to stop using race it's time to stop using race as a club.
On the street. Rachel, thank you for your time. Leslie, thank you for yours as well. Okay.
Thank you.